Hi, thanks for joining another session of Smart Bites. I'm going to do a little more factoring here, something a little more involved, not much, but just sort of involved with the as far as like an extra step. Let's see. Let's take a polynomial. Let's just take a trinomial here and factor it. This one is 3x squared minus 9x minus 12. Okay, the first thing I want to do is think, okay, well, is there a GCF involved? Something I can maybe simplify this with. And the GCF is, the greatest common factor. Well, I have to ask myself, what number will go into all of these? What number can I divide into all of these? So I think, okay, well, I can do a 1, I can do a 3. Well, I can divide 3 into all of these, right? Can I do 6? No. Can I do 9? No, I can't divide 3 by 9, and that's just not what I want to do. It's the greatest common factor, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor out a 3, and really all factoring is dividing, right? I'm going to divide a 3 into this term, and into this term. So let's do that. So if I divide out a 3 in this case, 3, my set of parentheses, and if I divide 3 into this term right here, I get x squared, and if I divided 3 into this term, I get minus 3x, and a 3 into this term, I get minus 4. Okay, so this has already simplified it. Sometimes it will actually factor out where I don't, easily without me going through this step, but in this case we're going to go through this step and make things easier for us. Now previously I showed this method. It's called the A times C method, and if I think of it this way, it might simplify things. Well, if I take A, if this is A, if this 1 right here is A, if this 3 right here is B, let me just write that here. Here's A, this is B, this right here is B, and this is C, this negative 4 is C. So, just so maybe I can simplify this here. This is A times C. Here's my little chart. And B. Okay. A times C is negative 4, right? So I have to find something, two numbers that when I multiply them together will give me a negative 4, and when I add them together will give me what B is, a negative 3. Okay, so what two numbers can I multiply together that will give me a negative 4? Well, 1 times negative 4 will, let's write that down, 1 times negative 4. Well, what about when I add them together? Well, 1 plus negative 4. 1 plus negative 4 gives me a negative 3. So it looks like I have my match, right? Okay, so let me rewrite this. Let me say 3, and then we have x squared. And now this is the term that I am going to actually split up into these two numbers that I found. And so I have plus x minus 4x minus 4. Okay? Don't forget your equal sign. I do that all the time. Okay. Now let's take this a step further. Do you agree with me, first of all, that if I add x and a minus 4x, that I actually get negative 3x? Furthermore, I'm gonna go ahead and factor by grouping. So I'm gonna rewrite this. It's 3 big brackets. And I'm going to factor out an x out of this first group right here, and then I'm going to work my way to this next group. So first I can factor out an x, and if I divide an x to this first term, I get x. If I divide x into the second term, then I get 1. And here, what can I factor out of this? Well, I can factor out a negative 4, right? So let's go ahead and do that. And I get x plus 1. Okay, because if I factor out a negative 4 into this first term, I get x. And if I factor out negative 4 in the second term, I get plus 1. Okay? So now, I actually know I did this right because I know that I have a plus in both of these right here. Just to go back and check my work. And they have the same sign. They have the same terms inside of these parentheses. It looks good. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and bring down this 3. I'm going to write this x minus 4 in a set of brackets. And I'm going to write this x plus 1. There's 2 of them here, as you can see. I'm going to go ahead and just write it in one set of brackets. X plus 1. Okay? And there we have it. There is, if we were to factor this out right here, if we were to actually multiply this, then we would get this first thing that we started with. But in case you don't believe me, what is the first thing we started with? It's 3x squared minus 9x minus 12. Well, let's find out. I want to find out if I actually did it right. If I want to go back and I have some extra time on my test, that's great. Let's do it. So, first thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and multiply these two together, and so I get x squared, and I'm gonna write check right here. X squared. Excuse me, I got a mosquito trying to bite me. Okay. Alright, now I have x squared. X times 1 is plus x, and then minus 4 times x is minus 4x, and then minus 4 times 1 is minus 4. Okay, what's next? Let's see. Well, these two I can actually combine. They're like terms. So we have x squared minus 3x, because these two are like terms, minus 4. And then what do we have? We actually have this 3 right here too, right? That I have to multiply times this entire thing. I almost forgot about that. It's kind of funny. Well, if I did that, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and distribute this 3, right? So now I have 3x squared minus 9x minus 12. So, if you can see, this is actually the same thing as what we started with up here. So it works out. So, extra time on the test, not a problem. Go back and check it. Thank you for joining once again, Smart Bites. Come back and visit. I'll have some more videos up for factoring polynomials, trinomials, binomials, whatever you want to call them. Alright, see ya.